Assalamu alaikum and welcome back, dear friends. Today, let's dive into an intriguing and enlightening topic: the devils in Islam, their characteristics, and how they tempt humans. Many people believe that the devil is a singular creature, but did you know that there are numerous devils who reproduce, forming a vast lineage with a single mission: to mislead humans away from the path of Allah? Before we delve into the various devils and their duties, let's explore how they multiply. As quoted from the interpretations of Imam al-Bi'a, a well-respected scholar, it is said that the devil, Iblis, inserts his private part into his own body, producing 5 eggs. From these eggs, his offspring are born. According to narrations, Allah created a penis in the devil's right thigh and a private part in his left thigh, allowing the devil to mate with himself. As a result, 10 eggs emerge every day, and from each egg, 70 male and female demons come into existence. This grotesque method of reproduction highlights the ever-growing number of devils, shayateen, present in the world. Each devil has specific roles and strategies for tempting humans, a reality reflected in the Quranic verse where Allah warns us about the devil's persistent efforts. Indeed, Satan is an enemy to you, so take him as an enemy. He only invites his party to be among the companions of the blaze. Surah Fatir 35-6. Now let's explore the names and characteristics of these devils in detail and how they seek to lead people astray. 1. Suru, the devil of excessiveness and overreaction. Let's begin with Suru, the devil of excessiveness. Suru's primary goal is to lead humans into overreacting and being excessive in their emotions and actions, particularly in times of hardship, calamity, or even in daily activities. He thrives on human vulnerability, preying on moments of grief, anger, and despair, hoping to push people beyond their limits. This devil's mission directly contradicts Islamic teachings that emphasize patience, sabr, and moderation. Suru operates by whispering negative thoughts into the hearts of humans during moments of distress. His whispers might sound like, "Why me? Why is this happening to me?" Or, "You deserve better, fight back with anger." This devil uses a person's natural emotional response to amplify anger, sadness, or impatience, pushing them toward extremes. For example, during hardships when a person faces a significant loss, such as the death of a loved one or financial ruin, Suru will encourage them to lose hope, rebel against destiny, and question Allah's wisdom. This leads to impatience, despair, and sometimes even blasphemy. Suru also plays a role in everyday situations, tempting individuals to overindulge in things like food, wealth, or comfort, which leads to negligence in worship and moral responsibilities. Suru can even influence one's religious practices by promoting extremism. For example, he might tempt someone to be overly rigid and intolerant in religious observance, judging others harshly and deviating from the middle path that Islam encourages. The Quran warns against excessiveness and urges believers to adopt moderation. Indeed, Allah does not like the transgressors. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:1-90. This verse emphasizes that any form of excessiveness, whether in religious practices, lifestyle, or reactions to life's trials, is discouraged. Another verse states, "And those who, when they spend, are neither extravagant nor miserly, but hold a medium way between those extremes." Surah Al-Furqan 25:67. Islam teaches that patience and gratitude are key virtues in navigating life's ups and downs. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also highlighted the importance of avoiding extremes in behavior and faith. In a hadith, he said, "The religion is easy, and no one makes the religion too hard for themselves, except that it overcomes them." Sahih Bukhari. To protect oneself from Suru's temptations, it is vital to adopt a balanced and patient approach to life's challenges. Here are some ways to counteract Suru's influence. Embrace patience. When faced with difficulties, remind yourself of the Quranic promise that Allah is with those who are patient. O you who have believed, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:153. Regular prayer and remembrance. Engaging in regular prayer, Salah, and remembering Allah, dhikr, helps maintain a calm and balanced mindset. Reciting Surah Al-Ankabut and Surah Al-Baqarah frequently reinforces the virtues of patience and contentment. Seek support. Islam encourages seeking support from the community. Talking to others who have been through similar struggles can provide perspective and prevent overreactions. By recognizing the presence of Suru, believers can be vigilant in maintaining composure and avoiding excessiveness in their actions, thus adhering to the middle path prescribed in Islam. 2. Zinbor, the devil of fraud and cheating in business. Next, let's explore Zinbor, the devil who lurks in markets and trading places. His main task is to encourage fraudulent practices, cheating and dishonesty in business transactions. Zinbor plays on the human desire for wealth and profit, manipulating individuals to prioritize material gain over integrity and fairness. Zinbor's influence is evident in various unethical behaviors in commerce. Cheating in measurements. Zinbor tempts merchants to tamper with scales and measurements, giving less than what is paid for. This can include actions like shortchanging customers, reducing product weight, or using rigged scales. Misrepresentation. He whispers into the hearts of sellers to hide defects in products or provide false information about their quality and origin. By deceiving customers, Zinbor convinces traders to maximize profit at the expense of honesty. Unfair pricing. He encourages merchants to manipulate prices, either by inflating them to exploit buyers or by selling substandard goods at premium prices. Delaying payments. Zinbor also instigates unnecessary delays in fulfilling business agreements, whether by refusing to pay on time or withholding goods after the payment has been made. These behaviors create mistrust, injustice, and oppression within the market, directly opposing Islamic principles of trade and justice. The Quran explicitly condemns cheating and fraudulent practices in commerce. Woe to those who give less than due, who, when they take a measure from people, take it in full. But if they give by measure or by weight to them, they cause loss. Surah Al-Mutaffifin 83:1-3. This surah highlights the severity of cheating in trade and promises punishment for those who engage in such behavior. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also reinforced the importance of honesty in business. In one narration he said, "The merchants will be resurrected on the day of judgment as evildoers, except those who fear Allah, are honest, and speak the truth." Tirmidhi. Zinbor's influence directly opposes the values of fairness, transparency, and honesty that Islam requires in all transactions. To protect oneself from Zinbor's temptations, it's essential to conduct business with integrity, uphold justice, and prioritize ethical practices in every transaction. It is essential to incorporate Islamic teachings into business dealings. Remember the hereafter and constantly remind yourself that worldly profit is temporary, but the consequences in the hereafter are eternal. The Quran says, "And do not consume one another's wealth unjustly, or send it in bribery to the rulers, in order that they might aid you to consume a portion of the wealth of the people in sin, while you know it is unlawful." Surah Al-Baqarah 2:188. Include dhikr in transactions. Before engaging in trade, recite the Basmalah in the name of Allah, and perform acts of dhikr, remembrance of Allah, to purify intentions and actions. Maintain honesty. Always be truthful about the quality and value of products. Honesty not only protects from the temptations of wrongful gain, but also brings blessings to one's livelihood. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, The honest, trustworthy merchant will be with the prophets, the truthful and the martyrs. Hadith. Reflect on Surah Al-Mutaffifin. Reciting and reflecting upon this surah can serve as a reminder of the dangers of cheating in business and the severe consequences in the hereafter. By keeping these teachings in mind, Muslims can strive to maintain ethical standards in commerce and safeguard themselves from dishonest practices. 3. Be aware of the devil of adultery and immorality. Aware is one of the devils assigned to lead people into acts of immorality, especially adultery. His name and mission are connected to lustful desires and illicit relationships, targeting both men and women. He operates through various tactics, exploiting human weaknesses related to sexual desires and relationships. Stirring lust. Awa stirs intense desires in individuals, especially when they are alone with someone of the opposite sex who is not their mahram, non-marriageable kin. He amplifies feelings of attraction, urging people to pursue relationships outside Islamic boundaries. Promoting immodesty. Awa encourages individuals to dress immodestly and behave provocatively, weakening societal norms related to modesty and virtue. Exploiting loneliness. Aware often targets individuals during times of loneliness or vulnerability, whispering that illicit relationships or casual encounters can fill the void, leading people away from righteousness. Creating opportunities for sin. Aware thrives in situations that offer easy access to sin, such as private spaces, online interactions, or social gatherings, pushing individuals to take steps toward immorality. Islam emphasizes protecting chastity and avoiding situations that could lead to immoral acts. The Quran provides clear instructions, and do not approach unlawful sexual intercourse. Indeed, it is ever an immorality and is evil as a way. Surah Al-Isra 17:32. This verse emphasizes avoiding not only adultery, but also anything that might lead to it. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, further stressed the need to guard one's gaze and modesty. In a hadith, he said, "The adultery of the eyes is looking at what is forbidden. The adultery of the tongue is speaking about what is forbidden, and the heart desires and wishes. The private part then either acts upon this or refrains from it." Sahih Muslim. To defend against Awa's temptations, the following practices are crucial. 1. Lower the gaze. The Quran instructs both men and women to lower their gaze and protect their chastity. Tell the believing men to lower their gaze and guard their private parts. That is purer for them. Surah An-Nur 24:30. 2. Maintain modesty. Dressing modestly and behaving with dignity creates a protective barrier against Awa's influence. The Quran says, "O Prophet, tell your wives and your daughters and the women of the believers to bring down over themselves part of their outer garments. That is more suitable, that they will be known and not be abused." Surah Al-Ahzab 33:59. 3. Avoid seclusion. The Prophet, peace be upon him, warned against being alone with a non-mahram, saying, "Whenever a man is alone with a woman, Satan is the third among them." Hadith. 4. Engage in marriage. Islam encourages marriage as a lawful way to fulfill natural desires, providing a protective shield against immorality. The Quran states, "And among his signs is this, that he created for you mates from among yourselves, that you may dwell in tranquility with them, and he has put love and mercy between your hearts." Surah Ar-Rum 30:21. By understanding Awa's tactics and following Islamic guidelines on modesty and relationships, individuals can resist his influence and remain on the path of righteousness. 4. Daim, the devil of discord and anger. Daim is a dangerous devil whose role is to create discord, especially between spouses. He sows seeds of hatred, jealousy, and suspicion within households, leading to arguments, broken relationships, and divorce. Daim takes pleasure in exposing faults, inciting anger, and creating mistrust. In an authentic hadith narrated by Imam Muslim, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, described how Iblis sends his soldiers to tempt people. The devil who manages to cause a separation between husband and wife is praised by Iblis, who says, "Yes, you have done well." To protect against his influence, the Prophet advised Muslims to include dhikr, remembrance of Allah, in daily routines, especially when entering homes, eating, drinking, and engaging in marital relations. Additionally, maintaining good relations with one's spouse through mutual respect, love, and forgiveness is essential. The Quran highlights the importance of patience in family relations. And live with them in kindness, for if you dislike them, perhaps you dislike a thing, and Allah makes therein much good. Surah An-Nisa 4:19. Reciting specific prayers and reading surahs such as Surah Al-Furqan, Surah Al-Mulk, and Surah Al-Asr can help cultivate patience and tranquility within the household. 5. Wanan, the devil of laziness and sleepiness. Wanan is the devil who targets those striving for knowledge and worship. His task is to make people feel sleepy, lazy, and distracted, particularly when they are about to engage in acts of worship such as praying, studying, or reading the Quran. Wanan works by weighing down a person's head and eyelids, making them feel heavy and tired. However, Wanan has the opposite effect when it comes to sinful actions, providing a false sense of energy and alertness to those pursuing wrongdoing. This contradiction demonstrates the devil's deceitful nature, aiming to divert believers from righteousness while encouraging sinfulness. To protect against Wanan, it is advised to recite the Basmala in the name of Allah and Ayat al-Kursi before sleeping and upon waking up. Regularly reading Quranic verses such as Surah Al-Falaq and Surah An-Nas can also shield one from laziness. Additionally, maintaining a healthy sleep pattern, personal hygiene, and an active lifestyle can help keep the effects of Wanan at bay. 6. Walhan, the devil of doubt and obsession. Walhan is responsible for instilling doubt and anxiety in people's hearts, particularly concerning purification, tahara. He aims to make individuals excessively worry about their ablution, ghusl, ritual bath, and cleanliness, often leading them to repeat these actions multiple times. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned against falling into excessive doubt, advising simplicity in acts of worship. Reciting the Basmala and protective prayers before and after purification can help keep Walhan's whispers at a distance. The Quran also provides guidance on proper purification, as mentioned in Surah Al-Ma'idah. O you who have believed, when you rise to perform prayer, wash your faces and your forearms to the elbows, and wipe over your heads and wash your feet to the ankles. Surah Al-Ma'idah 5.6. This verse emphasizes the simplicity and clarity of purification, helping believers focus on proper worship without succumbing to the devil's attempts to sow doubt. 7. Saud, the devil of false news and slander. Saud specializes in spreading lies, slander, and false news. His influence leads to misunderstandings, hatred, and discord among people. The Quran warns against following unverified news and gossip. O you who have believed, if there comes to you a disobedient one with information, investigate, lest you harm a people out of ignorance and become, over what you have done, regretful. Surah Al-Hujurat 49:6. To protect oneself from Saud's influence, Muslims are encouraged to verify information before believing or spreading it. Reciting prayers before reading or listening to the news, as well as seeking forgiveness, istighfar, if influenced by falsehood, can help shield against this devil's whisperings. 8. Kanab, the devil of prayer. Distraction. Kanab is the devil who distracts Muslims during prayer. His aim is to make the worshipper lose concentration, forget the number of rak'ahs, units of prayer, they have completed, or become preoccupied with worldly matters. The Prophet, peace be upon him, advised believers to seek refuge in Allah from Kanab's distractions, reminding them that sincerity and focus in prayer are key to spiritual growth. To avoid Kanab's whispers, ensure the purity of the body, clothing, and place of prayer. Reciting Surah Al-Fatiha with deep reflection and concentration can help maintain focus throughout the prayer. 9. Khannas, the devil of distraction during Salah. Khannas is known for his role in distracting Muslims during Salah, prayer. His strategy involves interrupting concentration, causing worshippers to forget their place in prayer or to become absorbed in worldly thoughts. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, acknowledged this phenomenon, saying, "When one of you is in prayer, the devil comes to him and causes him to forget how many rak'ahs he has prayed. If this happens, he should perform 2 prostrations of forgetfulness at the end of the prayer." Sahih Muslim. Khannas' tactics are subtle yet persistent, aiming to exploit the moment of spiritual connection between the believer and Allah. The Quran emphasizes mindfulness during prayer and warns against the devil's whisperings. Say, "I seek refuge in the Lord of mankind, the sovereign of mankind, the God of mankind, from the evil of the whisperer who withdraws, who whispers in the breasts of mankind, among jinn and among mankind." Surah An-Nas 114, 1-6. To counteract Khannas' influence, believers are encouraged to recite Surah An-Nas and Surah Al-Ikhlas before starting prayer. The Prophet, peace be upon him, also advised seeking refuge in Allah from the accursed devil to dispel distractions. By understanding Khannas' tactics, believers can be vigilant in safeguarding their prayers. Maintaining the quality of Salah is essential, as it is described in the Quran as a protection against evil deeds. Indeed, prayer prohibits immorality and wrongdoing, and the remembrance of Allah is greater, and Allah knows that which you do. Surah Al-Ankabut 29:45. This verse emphasizes the spiritual benefit of prayer and reminds believers of its role in keeping them away from the path of Satan, which Iblis persistently tries to disrupt. Iblis is the chief of all devils. Now let's talk about Iblis, the most significant and well-known devil in Islamic teachings. Unlike other devils, Iblis is directly mentioned in the Quran, and his story and characteristics provide insight into the origin of all evil temptations in the world. Iblis was originally one of the jinn, a creation of Allah, who was distinguished for his worship. However, his arrogance led to his downfall. The Quran details the story of Iblis in several chapters. When Allah created Adam, peace be upon him, he commanded all the angels and Iblis to prostrate to Adam as a sign of respect. While the angels obeyed, Iblis refused, claiming superiority due to his fiery origin. He said, "I am better than him. You created me from fire and created him from clay." Surah Al-A'raf 7:12. His refusal was rooted in arrogance and envy, and as a result Allah cursed him and expelled him from paradise. Iblis then vowed to mislead humans until the day of judgment. He said, "Because you have put me in error, I will surely sit in wait for them on your straight path. Then I will come to them from before them and from behind them, and on their right and on their left, and you will not find most of them grateful to you." Surah Al-A'raf 7:16-17. In this vow, Iblis revealed his relentless mission to lead humans astray, employing various strategies to weaken their faith. Unlike other devils with specific tasks, Iblis targets every aspect of human life. He influences pride, envy, desire, greed, and doubt, exploiting every possible weakness to divert people from the worship of Allah. One of Iblis's primary tactics is whispering doubt into people's hearts. This can manifest as doubts about the existence of Allah, the truth of Islam, or the authenticity of the Quran. His whispers often create confusion, leading people away from seeking true knowledge and submitting to the divine guidance of Allah. The Quran acknowledges the whispering nature of Iblis, and if an evil suggestion comes to you from Satan, then seek refuge in Allah. Indeed, he is hearing and knowing. Surah Al-A'raf 7:200. Another method employed by Iblis is to adorn sinful deeds, making them seem attractive and harmless. He deceives humans into believing that indulging in desires without restraint will bring happiness and fulfillment. The Quran warns against falling for such deceptions. Satan promises them and arouses desire in them, but Satan does not promise them except delusion. Surah An-Nisa 4:120. One of the most significant episodes involving Iblis in the Quran is his temptation of Adam and Hawa, Eve. After being cast out of paradise, Iblis sought to make Adam and Hawa disobey Allah. He approached them with lies and false promises. Then Satan whispered to them to make apparent to them that which was concealed from them of their private parts. He said, "Your Lord did not forbid you this tree except that you become angels or become of the immortal." Surah Al-A'raf 7:20. Through deceit, Iblis managed to convince Adam and Hawa to eat from the forbidden tree. This event serves as a profound reminder of how Iblis operates, through manipulation, deceit, and exploiting human desires. The consequences of their actions led to their expulsion from paradise, illustrating the gravity of disobedience to Allah's commands. To protect oneself from Iblis's influence, the Quran and Sunnah offer several strategies. Seeking refuge in Allah regularly, saying, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim," I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan, is a powerful way to seek protection from Satan's whispers. Recitation of the Quran, especially surahs such as Al-Baqarah, Al-Falaq and An-Nas, is particularly effective in repelling Iblis and his offspring. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Do not turn your houses into graves. Indeed, Satan runs away from a house in which Surah Al-Baqarah is recited." Sahih Muslim. Regular prayers, performing the 5 daily prayers on time, act as a barrier against Iblis. The Quran states, "Indeed, prayer prohibits immorality and wrongdoing, and the remembrance of Allah is greater." Surah Al-Ankabut 29-45. Dhikr, remembrance of Allah, constant remembrance of Allah, including morning and evening supplications, fortifies the believer's heart against the devil's influence. Maintaining sincerity in worship is also critical, as Iblis vowed to mislead humans, except those who are sincere in their worship of Allah. "By your might, I will surely mislead them all, except among them your chosen servants." Surah Saud 38:82-83. This highlights the importance of sincerity, ikhlas, in one's intentions and actions to escape Iblis's traps. Through these explanations, it is evident that the devils, whether it be Kanab, Iblis, or others like Suru, Zinbor, and Awar, each have specific roles and strategies aimed at deviating humans from the straight path. The Quran and the teachings of the Prophet, peace be upon him, provide a comprehensive guide on recognizing these devils and implementing countermeasures. In addition to seeking refuge in Allah and staying committed to the pillars of Islam, believers must remain vigilant against the subtle tricks and persistent efforts of these devils. By reinforcing one's faith through prayer, Quranic recitation and dhikr, one can build a spiritual defense against their whisperings. May this discussion serve as a reminder of the unseen challenges that exist and the importance of turning to Allah for guidance and protection. May we all be granted the strength and wisdom to resist the temptations of the devils and remain steadfast on the path of righteousness.